hopes were high. A recovery, a breakthrough was expected for this year. Instead, the world economy is just plodding along with positive stimulus not really in sight right now. Jochen Möbert from Deutsche Bank Research is here with me. The latest DBIX that you and your colleagues came up with is also pointing into that direction. The world economy is more or less flatlining.
Right, the DBIX is flat, so it moves sideways now for 4 months, so the whole year, 2015. The main reason for this development was the weakness of China and the United States. In particular, the United States nearly stagnated. We had no growth rate in the first quarter. We had a flat development and we expected much stronger growth, and now we have some lower full-year developments. We expect lower full-year growth rates for the United States, but also for China. And our world growth should be around 3% and not clearly above 3%, as expected at the start of the year.
Mm-hmm. Economists talk about a phase of weakness that the world economy is going through right now. Phase means that the current state is just a temporary one and that phase will be over anytime soon. Is that realistic right now?
In particular for the United States, it's realistic. I think the underlying strength of the United States, if you look at the labor market and the housing market, is still very strong. And we also see a very still expansionary monetary policy. So now we just discuss the first rate hikes of the Fed. But overall, the Fed still buys mortgage-backed securities, and we only talk about the first few rate hikes, so interest rates should remain low and should be positive for the whole economy.
Mm-hmm. The International Monetary Fund states that the emerging markets are one of the main problems for the world economy right now. They're underperforming, they're not really tapping their full potential right now. How big of a problem is that really for the world economy?
Well, it is a problem because the weight of the emerging market is now roughly 50% of global growth. So if there's a weakness in many countries, this directly translates into lower global growth. And we see in particular in China, in Russia and in Brazil that the latest indicators were relatively weak. We see the sanctions and the weak economic development in Russia. We see that Brazil is coping with a corruption and with an economic decline. And also in China we have a sluggish growth and a lot of problems with respect to wealth and high house prices. So these are major concerns for the global economy going on.
Another much debated topic are the investments in the industrial countries that have declined in the past months. Is that contributing to that flat world economy right now?
Well, that's contributing relative to the high growth rates pre-financial crisis, but now given the high debt levels in many countries, in the private as well as in the public sector, given the technological shift, which is where less investment is necessary for the digital revolution, it's clear that investments are less necessary to generate growth and to bring the country in a more stable position.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Mr. Möbert. So far, growth and recovery are, of course, the big targets also for a big economy such as Germany. But that, of course, is only possible if companies can produce and deliver unhamperedly. However, strikes here in Germany make that quite difficult from time to time. Right now, there's a multi-day rail strike here in Germany. With what economic consequences? That is the question we want to dedicate to in our focus interview, Germany, a strike nation. You can see that online at dwde/English/Made in Germany.